Good morning, guys. I am having some technical difficulties this morning. Well, that's better. I've tried this 3 times, and when I opened the picture, it was really blurry. All right, so this morning we're going to work on my study buddy, and this is in your homework folder. As you can see, I borrowed this from Alice, and she had homework March 23rd through 27th written at the top. This went home the Friday that we left school. This is a review passage, so it's not a new standard that we're learning today. This is ask and answer questions to demonstrate understanding of a text, referring explicitly to the text as the basis for the answers. So this is going to be your who, what, when, where, why when you're answering and asking questions. And this is going to be a lot of right there answers in the story. So I'm going to read this to you. It might seem kind of small on your screen because it's not a scan, it's a picture. So if you want to follow along on your passage, you can, because my screen might seem small. My study buddy. Sandy, I'm so excited that you're assigned to be my study buddy. I know I'll understand the assignment after you explain it. I hope I never miss school again. Okay, where do you want to begin? Asked Megan. Well, let's see. Maybe I'll review the main points Mr. Harris talked about yesterday. If you don't understand something, please tell me, said Sandy. That works for me, exclaimed Megan. I'll try my best to learn what I missed. Mr. Harris is going to be pleased. I plan to be a fast learner, so Mr. Harris will be proud of me. Just wait and see. Paragraph 4. Sandy began telling Megan about different ways to communicate information. She explained how an article on the web, an email to a friend, and the television news are alike and different. Sandy used a chart to help Megan understand. So the chart says article on the web, email to a friend, and television news. And it compares each of those 3 things. I want you to take a look and read through that for a second while I plug my computer in. All right, so as I zoom in on that, going to cooperate. There we go. Article on the web usually answers the questions who, what, when, where, why, uses words on a computer to tell the story, uses formal words to tell about a topic. Readers see thoughts or feelings of characters by the words the writer uses. Email to a friend may not give many details because it's just a quick letter type thing. Uses words on a computer to tell the story. Uses casual or everyday words to tell information to another person. And readers see thoughts or feelings of characters by the words the writer uses. Television news usually answers the questions who, what, where, when, why. Uses words, images, sounds, and sometimes live video clips on television to tell the story. Uses formal and casual words to tell information. And viewers see facial expressions and hand movements and hear dialogue to know how people think and feel. Megan smiled and said, "It makes sense to me, Sandy. I only have a few questions. Can you explain what you mean by a web article?" "Sure, that's easy. You know, we often use the web in class. Sometimes Mr. Harris asks us to search for information on topics we're learning about. Well, a web-based article is another way of describing an article that is found online or on the web," explained Sandy. "You're right. That's easy to understand. What did you mean when you said formal words and casual words? Asked Megan. Sandy used an example to help Megan grasp the meanings. We've had that word before in our vocabulary. Grasp means to get it, to understand it, to hold it in. She said formal words are used in report writing. Casual words are used when you are talking to a friend. Some formal words are children, father, thank you, he is. Some casual words are kids, daddy, thanks, he's. Megan listened and then gave some other examples. Sandy said the examples were correct. Together they made a chart to help Megan remember. Finally, Megan understood the differences in the ways to communicate. Now you're ready for your project. You must write about a news event. It should look like a web-based article. You'll write about the same event using an email. Place the article and email on a poster. I can't wait until Mr. Harris sees your completed project. I just know you'll knock his socks off, said a beaming Sandy. And so knock his socks off is a phrase. Is she really going to knock him right off of his feet? No, it means she's going to make him proud, right? Paragraph 10. Megan gave her finished project to Mr. Harris 2 days later. She was pleased with what she had written. Megan felt she owed the world to her study buddy Sandy. Here is the article, followed by the email Megan wrote. Mr. Harris returned the project to Megan the next week. Looking up at her teacher, Megan saw him smile. His smile seemed to spread from ear to ear. She looked down at her poster. Mr. Harris had written the words "excellent work" along with the letter A. So let's take a look at what she wrote. The invention of the Slinky. In 1943, Richard James was working in a laboratory in his home in Philadelphia. He was trying to invent a set of springs. These springs would help ships stay afloat when the sea became rough. He accidentally knocked the spring off the shelf. As it fell, the spring seemed to walk across the floor. Mr. James experimented with the spring. He discovered the moving spring was entertaining. Mrs. James told her husband she thought it would be a great toy. She named it Slinky. A department store in Philadelphia displayed the toy in 1945. 400 Slinkies were sold within 90 minutes. This toy continues to be popular with people of all ages. And then this would be her email. Subject, Slinky invention. Hey, Lisa. Did you hear about the Slinky? It was an accident this toy was invented. Amazing, right? Richard James is lucky. He invented the Slinky. He was just playing around and dropped a spring on the floor. He watched it move across the floor. I'm glad he dropped that spring. Wow, I still can't believe it. Megan. So let's take a look at number one. Read the sentence from paragraph 4. And since the sentence is right there for us, we don't need to go back into paragraph 4. Sandy began telling Megan about the different ways to communicate information. What does the word communicate in this sentence? Well, I see some words around it that would help me understand what the word communicate means. Said Sandy began telling Megan about different ways to communicate information. And in the story, they're talking about different ways to give information to people. Communicate would be to share. That would be giving it to other people. To talk with, to make up, or to travel. And the correct answer is, yes, A, to share information with others. Number 2, which words show that Sandy thinks Mr. Harris will like Megan's project? You also don't need to go back into the passage. You can take what you learned from the passage about Mr. Harris and what Sandy thinks that he will think, and then make a decision and come to a conclusion about what answer you think it is. Which words show that Sandy thinks Mr. Harris will like Megan's project? Will like will underline, meaning he hasn't seen it yet. Try my best. That's easy. Knock his socks off, or saw him smile. Well, we know that Sandy said in the passage, knock his socks off. C is the correct answer. Number 3, what sentence tells the reason Megan does not understand the lesson on communication? We can go right back into the paragraph, into the passage for that. In the very beginning, you find the beginning one right here. And we're on the first page. She says, I hope I'll never miss school again. So that lets me know that she was out of school when he explained the assignment, correct? Let's find something that will answer that. Go back to number 1. Or we're on number 3. She's busy working on her project. No. She has difficulty learning information at school. No. She's writing an email and not paying attention in class. No. She is absent from school the day Mr. Harris taught the lesson. Yes, it was a right there answer, D. Number 4, what effect belongs on the blank lines? So it's cause effect. A, and so it says Megan works with a study buddy. What's the effect? She's able to write an email. She works with a friend on a project. She gives information about a Slinky. Or she understands the different ways to communicate. She worked with the study buddy not to give the information about a Slinky, not to work with a friend, and not to write an email. The overall reason she worked with the study buddy was D, to understand the different ways to communicate. Let's see, number 5. What central message might be learned from this story? So this is also one where you can't go back into the story. You just have to think about what happened in the story and what would be the message to learn from it, or the lesson, the moral. Teachers give rewards. No, it didn't have anything to do with that. Friends can be teachers. Was her friend a teacher? Yeah. Let's see the rest, though. Using the web is easy. It didn't really hone in on just the web. Be happy with what you have. No, it wasn't about that. It was about friends can be teachers, B. Number 6, how is the dialogue important to the story? Select 3 choices. So the dialogue is going to be the talking. How is it important in the story? It helped the reader predict the ending of the story. Not really. It just told us play by play. It helps the reader know how to communicate with others. Not really. It helps the reader know why Megan and Elisa are friends. Yes, because it talks about their friendship in the dialogue. See, I would circle. It helps the reader determine the central message of the story. Yes, because you learn through the dialogue that it's a friend helping a friend. D. It helps the reader understand the thoughts and feelings of the character. Yes, always dialogue is going to help the reader understand the thoughts and feelings of the characters. E, always. C, D, and E then. Number 7, read the sentence from paragraph 10. Megan felt she owed the world to her study buddy, Sandy. How does Megan feel at this moment? Well, I'm going to underline or highlight she owed the world. If you feel like you owe the world to somebody, then how would you feel at that moment? Thankful that her friend helped her, I would say. If you feel like you owe the world to somebody, you're very thankful for them. Amused that she was able to play with her friend. Nope, she didn't even play with her friend. Worried that she would get her friend in trouble. No, her friend was just helping her. Sad that she did not have enough money to pay Sandy. I would say B, C, and D are all silly and don't make any sense. A is the correct answer. Based on the story, what can the reader tell about Sandy? Okay, so this is a lot of these questions you don't have to go back into the story for. So after reading the whole story, what can you tell about Sandy? This is going to be about her character. What are some things Sandy did, her reactions, the things she said that lead you to the answer about Sandy? She wishes she did not have to help Megan. She does not like school as much as Megan. She said she would never miss school again. She's a better student than Megan. No, I don't think anything said that. She's successful helping Megan. Absolutely, she was successful because she taught Megan all about the different forms of communication. And then she was able to create her project. She was like the little teacher, right? Now you are going to do 9 through 16 on your own. Please make sure that when you are doing 15 and 16, that you are using details from the text. So picking sentences right out of the text to support your answer. So I should see some sentences that are right in the text to support your answer. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.